Michael Bettine here from the beautiful Pennsylvania countryside at Gong Camp with another transmission from Gong Camp. It's inspiring out here, listening to everything. The wind, I'm sure you can hear that. There's some chimes here. A lot of different birds. Cars drive by out front. So I'm always taking in the sound because I can use these sounds in my work. So let's talk about my work. Big thing I teach about is what I feel is important, at least to me. It might not be to you because we all work differently, but to me, it's creating some sort of a narrative, some sort of storyline when you play. As opposed to all these people that I see on YouTube or occasionally live and they're just randomly hitting things. And it's sort of chaotic. Might be interesting to some, but it really doesn't interest me much. I like to have some sort of a storyline. As I said, I take my inspiration from wherever I am. Here we are. We've got sounds happening. So I want to talk to you about my recent time in Italy. I was in Tuscany. I was teaching there. Very beautiful area. On one side was the Mediterranean Sea, and on the other side were the mountains, and I was somewhere in between. And it was just so much to soak in. My wife was with me. We went down to the sea, spent time down there, waded into the Mediterranean, hung out, listened to the waves, ate lunch on a restaurant out on a pier over the water, soaked that up. We went, and our host Roberta drove us up into the mountains, and we went up there, and we were able to look back at everything. And then in our off days, we took train trips to other cities to be a tourist, to see things. So riding the train through the beautiful countryside, listening to the train sounds. I soaked it all in. And when I had to play a concert there, to create a narrative, I created A Day in Tuscany. I took what I had just taken in the previous days, and I released it through the instruments. I gave it back. So my first performance was my interpretation of what I had experienced in the previous 5 or so days being in Tuscany. There was the morning time, the birds, the rooster that was always crowing at all times of the day, and the birds waking up and chattering and singing. The day getting started, the sun coming up, the wind like today, the leaves rustling, cars going by, people going about their business, going through the day, and then the sun going down and things getting calmer and darker. And during the day there was the water, there was the mountains, there was everything around me. But then the sun going down and the insects coming out and the sounds and everything calming down and the energy calming down. So for 70 minutes, I did a portrait of Tuscany in sounds. I'm a sound painter. I paint with sounds. My canvas is the air molecules between you and me. That's my canvas. So I painted these sounds on the air, and it was my interpretation of A Day in Tuscany. And it was a lot of fun to do. It was beautiful. It It was thrilling. It was amazing. I loved doing it. So then, 5 days later, I had another concert, but I had had more experiences. In the meantime, we'd had a thunderstorm, a rather rare occurrence apparently in that area. And I was standing out on the back porch listening to the thunder as it moved across the sky. That was amazing. I had surround sound in real life, echoing through the valley, the mountains echoing around me. The rain on the roof. There was hail. There was rain. There was thunder. There was some lightning. I took all of that in. Next performance, once again, I decided to do a day in the life in Tuscany because that's where I was. And all these influences, all the stimulation was fresh in my mind. So, once again, I did a day in Tuscany, and it was completely different because I brought in the thunderstorms. I brought in the rain. I brought in all those type of sounds and moved through the day. I brought in things moving across and disappearing and fading, and then the sun coming back out. Use what's around you for an influence. If you don't know how to tell a story, look at what's around you. I look at everything around me, and it's a constant influence on the art that I do, whether it be sound or writing or design. Everything. I bring the world into it. I bring my experiences into it. But I think it's important to create some cohesive storyline. And the people don't have to know. I never announced I'm playing a day in Tuscany. I just did it. And people picked up on there was a storyline. They asked me, were you playing like a narrative, a storyline? And I said, yes. They pick up on it. And I think it gives people something to connect to much more than just random bashing on your instruments with no idea other than, well, I'll just start hitting things. So do that. If you don't work with a narrative now, give it a try. Maybe it won't be for you, and that's okay. I mean, I transmit a lot of information on these videos, and my feeling is take what works for you, leave the rest. If nothing works for you, that's okay. I won't get any hurt feelings. Do your thing. Definitely do your thing. Don't do my thing. I'm already doing it. I'm already the best at my thing. So, but take ideas if they work for you. But try working with some sort of a structure, a narrative. Just it could be a simple story. How you were feeling at the time. What's happening around you. Work with that. I often work with the chemical 5 basic elements: air, earth, fire, water, and ether. I can work with other alchemical ideas, the 3 primes, salt and sulfur and mercury. I can work with other things. But I like to have something that I can use to create a storyline. So I hope this has helped. I hope it's given you at least food for thought, maybe something to explore on your own as you go through your sound work. I'll see you next time.